I'm gonna do two Q&As. I'm gonna do a Q&A here that is normal questions that I get and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna be doing like a raunchier questions that I get asked a lot, but that's only gonna be on my OnlyFriends. So, okay, best thing that makes time slow down for me is definitely, I don't know, I would say sex. And that's probably why I like it so much. But like, I always have a running list in my head, and I used to really like benzos and stuff like that because it really slowed my brain down. I have like a bunch of tabs open, but when I'm having sex with someone, it all stops, and like, I don't know, I'm not thinking about anything, you know. A lot of people ask this one, if finances were not a concern, what would I do? That's a tricky question because so many of my passions are like directly linked to what I have done for like to make money. I love polling, but that's because I was a dancer for 7 years, and like I love makeup, but that has helped me make money. I think if I like really stripped away like not needing money, it's like such a basic answer, but like I'd travel. Obviously I would, you know, spend time with my friends, my family, like I would eat good food, but also I would want to be like completely self-sufficient. Like I would want to grow all of my own food. I would want to like hunt and catch my own fish and like learn how to filter water and stuff like that. But I think that's what humans have done for so long. It makes sense that that's why we would like intrinsically want that if we took away like a lot of the made up stuff we've created. I will take too long if I answer each question deeply. My favorite thing to do, how do I say it on here? My favorite thing to do is eat good food and having orgasms. Those are my favorite things to do. I also love laying in the sun though. You can't tell because I'm pale, but I wear a lot of sunscreen so I don't get like tan and stuff like that, but I love laying in the sun and I love being in water. Any YouTube channels I recommend to watch? I love Emma Magnolia's YouTube videos. I think she's really funny. And I love seeing all the stuff she does. But I really don't watch YouTube that much. I'm trying to like watch more YouTube so I can understand how it works and stuff like that, but I really don't watch that much YouTube. I'm passionate about so many different things. I love finding ways to connect racism and pedophilia to every aspect of life because they are connected. I'm very passionate about that. It doesn't necessarily feel good, but I do like finding answers to like why do we act like this? Why do we say this? You know, and usually the answer is pedophilia or racism. But I'm also passionate about like good food and learning how to like be kind to people. I don't know. I'm very passionate about my dogs. I love my dogs very much. And I love clothes. I don't wear a lot of clothes, but I love clothes. Cute clothes. My favorite childhood memory. These are the most random questions ever. I need to organize these better. My favorite childhood memory is probably I lived in Hawaii with my little brother, and my mom would work and go to school a lot, and we lived in this one house that had a creek outside of it, and when it would rain, like the creek would come up to the porch, but me and my brother would like go on adventures in it. We would like, you know, look for hidden treasure or whatever. We were like 8 and 2 or something, like 10 and 2. And there was like mud that was really, you would like sink into it. I later learned as I got older that it was like pig shit coming down the mountain. But we would always pretend it was like quicksand, and we would like throw vines and like try and save each other. That has to be like one of my favorites. I think about it a lot. The funniest thing that has happened to me recently, I'm just gonna read these off. I'm not even trying to organize these. That's a funny thing that has happened to me recently. I went viral on TikTok for having to go to the hospital because I put a cucumber up and it got stuck. It was funny now. It wasn't funny then, I was very scared, but it was quite funny having to talk to the doctors about that. Just gotta find humor, right? Something I'm oddly good at. Ooh, oddly. I'm oddly good at like bureaucratic stuff. So like paperwork, any secretary work. I did a lot of stuff like that growing up because my mom's quite bad at it, so I had to like counter. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you would look at me and not think I'm very good at bureaucratic stuff. Plus I get overwhelmed really easily in like real life, and that's kind of funny. But it doesn't overwhelm me. It's like a puzzle. I don't know. Something I wish people knew about me. Nothing. I wish people knew nothing about me. I wish I was an enigma. A riddle to be solved. But a lot of how I'm getting traction online and like on my platforms and stuff is like my super candid transparency and honesty. I guess I wish people knew like more about my life than me having to like tell them, because I feel like I've been in some rough spots. I've had some tough times. So I feel like it's a little bit more commendable that I turned out a pretty good person. My biggest fear, I'm gonna give you my honest answer and then what I tell people. My biggest fear is being in a loveless marriage where I do all of the caretaking and child rearing, the cooking, cleaning, you know, like the dream. That scares me. And all the time, I like, to my core, all the time I'll see parents out in public, and especially if it's like a cis straight relationship, the woman is like running around getting the kids, you know, like asking for help, looking embarrassed, and the husband's just like on his phone. I think that scares me the most. I tell people all the time that I'm scared of snakes and crocodiles, and I am. Like, I'm not scared in the same way. Like, I think snakes are beautiful, and I think like reptiles are beautiful, but I do have like the human dragon fear. You know, like people will always make a dragon in any time, in any culture. I think we have like a human fear of reptiles, and I have that. I'm very scared of crocodiles, and I moved to a country with crocodiles. Okay, I just turned 30 in December, and this question is, how have I found turning 30? I love it. I was really scared when I was like 28, 29, but it hit, and like, I'm not unlovable, I'm not falling apart, like, I was the same way when I turned 20. I was really scared that like all of a sudden I wouldn't be hot, or like, I don't know. It's a lie. It's a lie. I love being 30. I feel like I'm stepping into my MILFness, you know? I feel like I never really was like the girl next door vibes. I never really felt like I fit into like the young hoe stereotype, but I have always really like me and MILFage. But I don't have kids, and like, I don't know. But the older I get, the more I'm like, I feel like I can command a room. I feel like I'm stepping into like womanhood. Whereas a lot of the times, like me flirting would be like, oh my god, you know, like very young, very juvenile girlhood. But as I get older, I'm realizing there is a different type of sexiness that is womanhood, and it's a lot more fun. Like, I don't know, being the dommy one. I like it. I feel like I'm gonna get what I want more because I can say it. It feels really sexy, and I like it. Would I rather be in jail for 5 years or a coma for 10 years? Well, the logical part of my brain says people who come out of a coma do have certain traumas, but they don't carry the same type of emotional weight as previous inmates and like jailed people's. So I'm gonna say coma because something about people who have been to jail or prison, especially because like this says jail, and jail I think is like a little worse than prison because they have, it's like for holding, you know, they have less resources, stuff like that. I think, yeah, coma for sure. My sight or my memories? Would I rather lose my sight or my memories? Asking the hard-hitting questions. I guess my sight, because you know, blind people make beautiful memories all of the time, and my memories are so linked to who I am as a person. I don't know, maybe I'd be freer without them, but I feel really strong and really confident in the experiences I've gathered. Would I rather get hit with a tranquilizer dart or a taser? Who's hitting me, right? Am I being hunted through the woods? Is it a cop? Like, it depends, that depends. So if it's like a random, like there's no people around and it's just like I get hit with one or the other, probably a tranquilizer dart. But if there are unsafe people around, I wouldn't want to be out of commission like that. I would want to have like, I know when you get tased, you can't like do anything, but you can still like understand what's happening to you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, tranquilizer dart unless, then taser. What color socks do I currently wear today? I don't wear socks. That's why my feet are always dirty. I live in the jungle. I live in Costa Rica, and I don't wear closed-toed shoes because they like mold and get mildewed, so I don't wear socks. Not really. I have a bunch of old socks that I should like wear and sell, but what are my plans for 2026? If I can be super frank with you, my plans are to get my OnlyFriends to like explode so that I can be more financially stable, buy a house with a big plot of land and a fence so my dogs can like run around and be happy and be free. I would love to have fruit trees, goats, chickens, stuff like that. But being logical, it probably won't happen. If I could get this year my OnlyFriends to be at a point where I'm financially stable, that would be awesome. I also want to bring my brother to Costa Rica so that I can show him around and stuff like that. I would like to go visit my mom. My mom has MS. She's not doing super hot, so I'd love to go visit her. And my dad is engaged, and his fiance has 2 kids, and I would love to do a family trip with all of us together. How am I finding living in the jungle? And what are the hardest things about living there? I fucking love it. I didn't love it at first. I love it now that I've gotten used to it. Everything molds. The humidity is like 98%, so like everything molds. It's crazy. I have had to learn how to store food differently and my clothes and things like that. We're super lucky that we bought a washer dryer and they're automatic. Not a lot of people have washer dryers, so that has been a saving grace. I would say the hardest thing about living here is the other white people, like the other immigrants here, the expats, but they're immigrants. The other immigrants that are here, I feel like everyone who leaves their country to go to another country, especially one that isn't viewed as wealthy, it's to like create your paradise. Do you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times when what I'm doing doesn't fit into like my neighbor's idea of their paradise, they're mad. Which, it's fine. But that's the hardest thing about living here, and I can't imagine what like the local Costa Rican peoples, the Chicos, like what they think, how hard it is. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting. But also it's really hard because there's no access to stuff. So like there's a couple things I need for work and I just like can't get them right now until I fly back into the States, because shipping is really difficult and expensive and things like that. So access to like stuff is kind of hard, but I also find I don't actually need a lot of that stuff. It's just like my ideas that I needed. Again, I will rant forever, so I need to move on. How long have I been practicing yoga for? I've been practicing yoga technically since I was a baby. Like I would do like baby yoga and stuff like that. And my dad is Chinese. Like I would do Tai Chi and stuff growing up. Like trying to feel closer to him. Like I didn't get serious about like my yoga, my flexibility, my intention until I was dancing. I started dancing when I turned 21. And then maybe it was 22, 23 that I started prepping for this contortion class. And I like got my splits, and then I started doing contortion, and now I do just daily yoga to like keep up that flexibility and like the mindfulness of my body, if that makes sense. Like when I started, somebody would say, you know, pick up your left knee, and I'd be like, wait, what? Because I just didn't have the brain body connection, but I definitely do now a lot more. Can I do the yoga pose where I lift my leg behind my head from a sitting position? Yes. I'm gonna show you, but I might have to crop it. And my head, okay, so I'm in a sitting position. Like this? Ta-da! Have any of my subscribers ever recognized me in public? No. I have a VPN, so my VPN reroutes me to LA. It's kind of cheating, but I haven't been recognized yet. I have been recognized by someone who followed me on TikTok, and that was cool. And we like took a picture together. That was fun, but no subscribers, not yet. I have had people from my real life who knew me subscribe. An old boss, like my ex's dad, co-workers, people I went to school with, a teacher, stuff like that. That's just part of the job. Do people try to judge you when you tell them what your job is? I've only been doing this for 6 months, so I haven't really encountered that yet. I have encountered like a little bit of judgment, and it's mostly from people online. But yeah, like my whole family is supportive. My dad gave me a business loan. Like my brother asks his business friends for advice all the time. So no, like my friends and family are incredibly supportive, but like you also wouldn't be friends with me if that was something that bothered you, if that makes sense. Have I had any surgeries before in my life? I have had my tongue split. That was technically a surgery, but I was awake for it. I've had my wisdom teeth taken out, and I had a colonoscopy because I tried to stop gardening, and it gave me like horrible stomach issues, and I couldn't eat for like 2 weeks, so they did a colonoscopy for that. My star sign is I'm a Sagittarius, and I do believe in the horoscopes, but I like the Chinese zodiacs a little better. So like I'm year of the pig. I don't know, they just vibe a little bit better, and white people haven't really tainted those yet for me. For Christmas, I got a lot of work stuff because that's what I asked for. My mom sent me a really fancy hair clip that's like a conch, but I don't wear it because I'm scared something will happen to it. And my dad got me a flight to see my little brother, and so that was so fun. I got to spend the week with them, and I loved it. Okay, I think that's all the normal questions. Come on over to see the raunchy side, I guess. Bye!